We're living in a time when our families are constantly challenged by events and trends happening around us, both locally and globally. Like, as a case study, a father friend shared his frustration just a few minutes before we played tennis. I play tennis 3 times a week. So siguro, dyan ko dito na. Just trying to brag. I went to my doctor the other week, and he was so happy with the result of my tests because my cholesterol, went down. And my internist told me, "Did you control eating this December?" I was just trying to behave like a senior citizen. So a friend shared his frustration just a few minutes before we played tennis one morning. He said, "After being so busy with my job, I came home trying to catch up with my family. I prepared the kids' favorite food when they were younger. When we were at the table, the kids were looking at the food and seemed uninterested. He was saying like, tumingin daw yung mga bata sa ganyan, tapos they were not saying anything. A few minutes later, the doorbell rang. Food was delivered by what the kids ordered online. It was a disgusting and frustrating experience. I believe nothing of that sort happened here in UBC, right? Your kids order online. I think that's happening out there. Hey, but if we're not prepared to face the trends and challenges, especially with the millennials and Generation Z around us, we might find ourselves disgusted and frustrated like my friend. This morning I'd like to propose that God has a perfect plan, perfect design for our family. Tell the person next to you, God has a perfect plan for your family. Reflecting back to the creation and God's relationship with human race will help us see God's design for the family. There are some verses that we can go back and allow this word to speak to us. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." The background of this passage is that while Adam was taking care of the animals, taking care of the fruits and the vegetables and the trees, there were a lot of animals, beautiful animals, the giraffe and all of those, but nothing was suitable for Adam. In other words, he was not attracted with all of these beautiful animals. And so there was a feeling of being alone. And so it's nice to know that our God is concerned about us. If you're here single, don't worry. God knows your concern. God knows your desire. The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of a man. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh." Try to imagine this. After Adam was so used to the surroundings, and there was another person inside of him, a beautiful woman, his statement should have been like, "Wow, beautiful," because he is different than the other surroundings. I hope that when we see a person beautiful or handsome, our response is to appreciate, right? Nothing wrong with that. Please don't be jealous with your husband or your wife when a person will appreciate, because the Lord has given us the aesthetic capacity to appreciate beauty. We also, look at ugly things, and we also make comments on ugly things. And so Adam was so happy to see this woman. Verse 24 introduces the concept of family. The man will leave his father, his mother, and be united with his wife. family would bring, marriage would bring into family. So verse 4 of chapter 4, Genesis, we can see the statement. Adam lay with his wife, Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Later she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept the flocks and Cain worked the soil. Family. We look at this first family, it's like a nuclear family as Western would label it. A nuclear family is a family with two father, mother, and two biological kids. That's nuclear family. When we look at the Bible, go to the Old Testament scenario, it is hard to find a word that corresponds precisely with the modern English word for family. The closest approximate word, bio, means house or household, which signifies a dwelling or a group of people, translated as family. Here are the verses, we will not be reading all of these verses. The word, however, is not limited to those sheltered under one roof. An example is the household of Israel, which is more of a clan than just a single family. Looking to the New Testament, we get the word patria. The word patria is lineage or descent. So the same idea. But the idea is related to oikos, a house or household. It signifies the historical origin of a household. Example, Joseph from the house and lineage of David, house of Israel, house of Jacob, all of those. In reflection, with this in mind, the idea of clan and household encapsulates the biblical concept of family. Both include parents and children, aunts, uncles, grandparents, adopted children, and house helpers. Imagine how big that family is. It's just like a nuclear family, bigger than a nuclear family. It is our extended family. And this is much closer to our Asian concept of extended family. Look at this extended family up here. Extended family. Next slide. That's not a nuclear family. Extended family. Last June 9, 2018, we went to Bethel where my mother is living at this point in time by herself with my brother beside her, celebrating her 90th birthday. Wow, my mother is 90th, no eyeglass, still cancer here. And every time we would see each other, he would tell me, "Then, do you have a book for me that I can read?" She's one of the second batch of the graduates of IBC. Maybe so she has kept to that. It was a great celebration for the whole family. And look at the big family over there. She was so happy, rejoicing. We were rejoicing with her. Whether your family is big or small or medium size, God has a design for our family. God has a design for your family. It's not accident that your family is big. God has a design. First design is for this our family to love the Lord 100%. Love the Lord 100%. Here's the word coming from God. He was asking Moses to deliver this to the people of Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be upon your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them. And when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up, tie them as symbols on your hands, and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. Loving the Lord with all our hearts. I was trying to imagine, Lord, how can I do that? Imperfect person. My love for you would not be 100%. If not 100%, but at least I would try to be there. Now, not only that our family should love the Lord, but this love of the Lord should be passed on to generations. My mother had passed on her Lord to our generations. I just want to share without bragging that, that Sunday morning, because the celebration was Sunday afternoon, I spoke in that church where he pioneered, both with my dad, 60-plus-year-old church, and the kids were leading the worship. All of us are Christian in the family. We're using the Lord, and I'd like to bring that to continue on further. Research told us that Christianity diminishes on the fourth generation. I spoke in Cebu one time, shared that thought, and this Chinese friend of mine, after the service, gathered all his siblings because he was so concerned about the future, that this Christianity will move on. It's a big challenge for us because would you like to see your kids in the future not following the Lord? No. But there's an effort for us to do today. I was talking with a friend before playing tennis the other day. Yesterday or Saturday. He's an Iranian guy, a Muslim guy, a good friend of mine. We talk about God and this guy. But I was asking him, how are you doing today in Iran after all of this events happening? When your general was killed by a drone. It was a high-tech killing. And yet you retaliated, sending like missiles to the base. And then while on the process, there was this airlines, right? It was mistakenly shut down. All of the passengers were killed. Not a joke. And so he told me, even with tears in his face, saying, my family in Iran, the whole family in Iran, the whole country of Iran, is in mourning up to this point in time. I was just happy that, even in tennis, you can share with those people without preaching. While we were talking, this guy, one of the well-known family name here in Manila, I will mention his name, joined in our conversation. And so we talked about that, and so I told him, if you believe the Bible, I was pressing the statement, because I do not know what God understands as a Christian. If you don't believe the Bible, I think that the Bible prophecy is unfolding slowly. And it's not going to change. Judas was destined to betray the Lord Jesus Christ, and he did. And so there is that. His response was like, my goodness, I'd like to prepare the kids for the future so that you will not, it will not happen to them. Person like this. So opportunities around us are there for us to share about the Word of God. And if there is that opportunity, share the love of God. But what does it mean to love God? John 14:15 says, if you love me, you will obey what I command. Loving God is tantamount to loving, obeying His word. I think we make a lot of mistakes on this because we argue with God. We follow our desires. And so we find ourselves not following God. But simple as this, if you love me, you will obey what I command. 1 John 4:20-21 says, if anyone says, I love God, yet hates his brother, he is a liar. For anyone who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, cannot love God, whom he has not seen. And he has given us his command. Whoever loves God must also love his brother. So sad that we can see it happening even in churches today. We come to church and worship God with all our hearts and, even speak in tongues. All of that. Sounds so spiritual. And yet, we cannot talk about brother or sister. And that's not happening here in the other churches. But loving God, we will love God. And this is the expression of our love to God. God is saying to the family, love God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. The second design of God for our family, God for our family is to love our neighbors as ourselves. Matthew 22:37-40 tells us, Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. Trying to emphasize what was mentioned earlier. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets come on these two commandments. Some people would say that this is a summary of the Ten Commandments. Or I think it's easier to say that following verse 40, all the law, previous law, and the prophets, teaching of the prophets, hang on to these commandments. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. There is a scenario, a parable, a story of a good neighbor in Luke 10:30-37. I'm trying to change the Samaritan into a good neighbor. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. These stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw that the man, he passed by on the other side, so too a Levite. But in contrast of the two persons going there, and they were on the other side, but to contrast, the Samaritan. A Samaritan is, I think, our time today is not a pure person as a mestizo. Today, if you're a mestizo, you have a status. But before, it's not. You are a gringos ostracized. Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was. And when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day, he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expenses you have made. And so Jesus challenged the lawyer, whom he was talking to, expert of the law, and he said, which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? The expert of the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus' punch to him was that, go do likewise. I don't know about you, but when we think of neighbor, a lot of times we think of a person next door to us. Right? A person who is not really close to us, but a little further from where we are. Paul is mirror to the Romans 13:10 and Romans 15:2. Said this, love does not no harm to its neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Each of us should please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. I was saying earlier that a lot of times we think of neighbor as a person who is just adjacent building or next door to us. But I'd like to propose this morning that our neighbor can be your husband, can be your wife, can be your kids, neighbor of the church. There are couples, family today, on the same roof. The husband is staying in the same room. The wife is staying in a different room. And they are not talking. 8 bedroom rooms, or 10, 9, or 8, or 7. All are in their private places. Not talking, not communicating. The Lord is saying to us, if it's happening, that we should love our neighbor as ourselves. I have been staying at a condominium for like 7 years now. The Lord has blessed us with a new one over at Santulo last year. And I thought staying at a condominium is like noisy because of the closeness of the rooms. I realized that condominium is where we stay. It's one of the beautiful places to stay. During weekend, there's no noise. You're not allowed to do hammering or whatever. During the weekdays, it's okay because people are at their offices. And so it's so beautiful. But here's the catch. My neighbor, I do not know him or her. Or perhaps I was thinking like, maybe there's a wisdom on this, because what if we will become so close? And so me or he or the person might disturb, me or us. And so I'm so busy with my work, I come home, I would like to just rest. Just the same with the person. And so I think that's the wisdom there. But I think the Lord is telling us this morning, we should reach out to our neighbors. I was saying earlier that if the scenario is our family, and we have not been talking for all of this time, I think the Lord is saying to us, love your neighbor as yourself. Reach out to your neighbor, to your husband, to your wife, to the family, and we work with church as our neighbor. Thirdly and lastly, God's plan for our family is to love our family unconditionally. First one is to love God above all. Second is to love our neighbor. And thirdly is to love our family members unconditionally. Boswick, in his book on family, proposed this approach as he tried to explain what family relationships are about. A theology of family relationship based on the Old Testament and New Testament descriptions of God's covenant relationship with His people. This is upon the fact that God's relationship with Israel is a covenant relationship. Anderson, in his book on being human, picked this idea up and he said, this applies the concept of covenant to human relationships, including those of husband, wife, and parents. So he is trying to expand that into this relationship. Chartier, joining with his authors in his idea, said, if God's action towards Israel are taken as a model, parenting of children will be characterized by loving, caring, responding, disciplining, giving, respecting, knowing, and forgiving. Wow, loaded with words, right? Loaded with words. Elements of this family relationship, going back to Boswick, has 4 elements. Number 1 is covenant. Number 2 is grace. Number 3 is empowering. And then number 4 is intimacy. I like how he put this into graph. This graph here. Put the slides up. I hope you can see this. The starting point is initial covenant. Initial covenant is a commitment. God made a covenant to Abraham and Noah, and that covenant stayed. It does not change. God was faithful to His covenant. It is an expression of unconditional love. So that is the starting point in the relationship. And because this covenant would produce security in the relationship, this relationship will bring a degree of grace. When family will become gracious, you remember the family. In our family, it's easy for us to just make statements, make strong comments, because we're so natural. Very strong statements. Alam natin walang kabuluhan, but it can really hit the person. But because of this security that covenant has brought into the family, it produces grace. And with this grace, we are more gracious in our words. We would be kind. Hopefully we would be kind. We would not be judgmental. We will be loving and caring because of this grace, level of grace in the family. And this grace will lead into a degree of empowering. When there is graciousness in the family, it would be easy for us to just say, you're doing good. Keep it up. Instead of saying, with courage, there is that empowering. So we empower each other. Husband and wife. When we have mistakes, we will be more gracious, and we will be more encouraging in our statements. And this degree of empowering will lead into a degree of intimacy, where you have freedom to talk. You know, there are some people who are talking about communications, talks about levels of communications, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. A lot of people that go down because it would be painful. So people will just stay here on top. The high and low statements. Because going deeper in our conversation, in our communication, would hurt the other person. But when there is that grace, the unconditional love, and grace empowering, the degree of intimacy will rise up. And so there will be freedom to talk, to openly talk. I just reminded me right now, I had a short chat with my daughter, and she was irritated with me and she was angry. And I was irritated. And she told me, "Dad, you told us it's okay to be angry, right?" So yeah. I've taught you so well that it's okay for you to be angry. So I pulled back. As a parent, I said, yeah, that's right. And you know, when we have established this relationship in the family, you will be surprised that your kids will be as open as they are. They will not be hiding anymore, but they will be open. I'm sorry for that expression, but it's a powerful expression because it's about me and my son. There are times when like 12 o'clock midnight, my son would call me at 8:30 class. I'm sleeping already, and he would talk to me and brought up some issues that he's struggling with, either with family or other issues. I'm sleeping, holding my phone, and we would talk. And I said, wow, my son trusts me. How many are parents here? Raise your hands. Isn't it not a nice feeling when your kids trust you? Will obey. This is going to happen when this element will flow. Initial covenant, the degree of grace, empowering, intimacy, and as a result of this, there is a mature covenant. Mature covenant that cannot be thwarted. Covenants that, there are the two covenants that the Lord made to Abraham and Noah. The first one was to Noah. He said, I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has a breath of life, everything on earth will perish. But I will establish the covenant with you, and you will enter the ark. You and your sons and your wife, and your sons with wives with you. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. The Lord spared Noah from that calamity. All of his family were inside that ark. Here's just a small part of God's covenant to Abraham. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham and said, to your descendants, I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates. Covenant is an unconditional love the Lord has shared with His people. The single point of the covenant is that it is an unconditional commitment demonstrated supremely by God in His role as a parent. So He was telling Abraham and Noah, here is the covenant with you, and I will not run away from this covenant. And this kind of covenant that the Lord was doing to these people is an example of the covenant of our relationship as family. And so I will bring this in a real sense. For example, I'm not married. My wife is not married. My wife here. I will tell my family, I will make a covenant with you. I'm going to take care of you as much as I can. I'm going to send you to school. I'm going to provide you the things that you need as far as I can accomplish. That is my covenant with you. This is the idea of God's covenant to His people, and a covenant that should be real in our family. So, going back, here's the flow of what we're saying. Covenant is the starting point, and conditional love is the core of that covenant. Because of the security love has provided, grace is developed. I was explaining earlier. Grace allows freedom to empower each other in the family. Empowering leads to intimacy among family members. The result is mature covenant. I like this statement. Covenant love means accepting the differences and uniqueness of each family members. We often hear this word from parents. Bakit hindi ka kasama, hindi ka kagaya ng kuya mo? Why are you not the same as your kuya? On and on down. Poor younger siblings would have to measure up to kuya because kuya is the star. Covenant love means accepting the differences and uniqueness of its family members. You will be amazed that your kids, the same parents, would have different personality. And some people would say, where is this coming from? Trying to on the gate. That's a part of me. But every member of the family is uniquely created by God. They're different personality. When there is love in the family and commitment, when there's that covenant in the family, we can take every person in the home, in the family, and accept them as who they are. When we will do that, then the family can grow stronger together. I'd like to challenge us this morning, as early as this year, that we can make a commitment. Can we make a commitment to our family? Can we make a covenant with our family? How about this commitment that we can do to our family? Could this be a good family covenant for this year? For better or for worse? For richer or for poorer? In sickness and in health? To love and to cherish, that God by death shall separate us. I have so many experiences all these years. And this is the most moving part in the relationship when husband and wife or couples will exchange their vows. But I'm bringing this further, not just for a couple, but for a family member of the church, of the family, member of the church. Can we say it together? No. Better for worse, richer for poor, sickness and health, love to cherish, to God by death shall separate us. You know, I was thinking this morning of, I don't know if it's possible this morning. I spoke short because I was thinking of this. If we could gather as a family, is that possible this morning? You could gather as a family where you are. If you are in opposite direction, I think we have time to just gather together for a while. And pray. Hold each other's hand and make this commitment this year. Is it possible? Can we all stand? And just look for your family, where they are, and just stay with your family.